Okay, hi everyone, welcome to another session of Webinar Wednesday. Today we have a brand new topic, okay? This is only for the month of November. So if you actually joined us last week, we were on GoPro for be a pro in EC, okay? And today we take a step backwards, not really backwards, but to another property type, which is in fact a very important segment of the industry, which is HDB. Okay, and we want to look at how are you able to understand this sector a bit more. What I understand is that a lot of you guys, it's very easy to just hop on and then just do whatever uh, agent activities that you have, okay, whether it's for hyping, door knocking, negotiation and all that. But I think it is also important to understand the background a little bit, back to the history on how did we end up with the current situation right now. So if you have been in the HDB market or if you've been following, you would realize that in the last, I would say, 5 to 10 years, the resale market for HDB has been pretty much, or should I say, the resale market, particularly in terms of the pricing, has been pretty much going downwards. Okay, not sliding downwards, pretty much stabilizing, but more on a downwards trend. So, have you ever wondered what could be the reason why prices, particularly for the resale market in the HDB, has pretty much gone down? What are the reasons? Could it be government measures, or what are people doing, and what has the government been doing to actually affect the current to result in the current situation? Okay, so without further ado, quick disclaimer here, and of course, if this is the first time you are joining us for training, welcome. And this is a very important slide. Okay, we have our three ladies here, Celeste, Zuki, and Sherry. They are your account managers. So depending on which agency you are from, you should be looking for your respective account manager. Okay, so you can see on the screen right now the different agencies. They would be able to help you not just for signing up or renewing, but if you do need some form of help, like which kind of tool should you be using to get the kind of info that you're looking for, they are also very well versed with their tools, and they'll be able to assist you from there. Of course, we also have a office hotline, which you can refer to on the top left hand corner, 69707793, and office WhatsApp, okay, 82886657. This would be available during office hours, of course, and it'll be good if you can reach us here if, let's say, you can't get hold of your account managers, because sometimes they may be busy doing training, or they may be in the midst of an event. Okay, so this is an alternative number that you can reach us on. If you have saved our office hotline some time back ago, do take note that this is a brand new number, simply because we have just shifted office just about a month or two ago. So this is a brand new number. If you're not updated your contact list yet, please update to the new number. Okay, if not, I'm not too sure whether you will still be able to reach us via the old number. Okay. Now, for those of you who also have not connected with us via Facebook, okay, do actually join our HDB Agent Facebook group. This is really useful to stay updated with us, be it news or promo, training details. Sometimes we do also have some posts on tips and insights on how to use certain tools, and of course, this would be the best place for you to get the most updated contact list. Okay, so in case there's any changes, maybe we have a new account manager or something, you would want to refer back to the agent Facebook group for the most updated contact details. So how do you actually find this group? All you need to do is just go to your Facebook app or website and search for HDB agent. Okay, remember it is a group. Alternatively, you can just scan the QR code on the screen right now to actually find this particular page. It is a closed group, so you will need to uh, request to join, and we will actually make sure that you're an agent before you can join us here. Okay. Alternatively, you can also reach us on Telegram. And for Telegram, this is an alternative platform, so you can join us for both Facebook and Telegram, or either or, depending on your preference. So same thing, we will also update you on Telegram as well. So just decide which is your preferred mode of being informed lah, huh? Okay, so sometimes because of the settings, you might miss certain information. So if you want to be very on top of whatever new updates that we might have, do join both. Okay, do join both. In case I'm moving too fast and you haven't gotten the chance to take a snapshot of the QR code or the links, don't worry, because this is a YouTube live session. So after my session today, you would be able to revisit today's training. Okay, so be it this particular slide or any part of the training which you find is important to you, or you would like to revisit, you'll be able to do so. Just like you're playing a video. Okay, so right now it's live. Thereafter, you'll be able to toggle along the 1.5 hours to see which part you would like to revisit. Okay. So also, for those of you who might not be aware, we actually have this function that allows you to sync your listings from Portal Rate over to HDB. It is absolutely free, and we do port over most of the information, including your key info like your size, your price, number of bedrooms, the standard stuff, the description, as well as the photos. Okay, of course, there will be some other things like the videos, which you would need to upload it manually via our system. Okay, so how do you actually port over your listings? When you are logged in with us, under your listings, under your active listings, you will see a sync with other portals button. Okay, this is the interface for the website, and you'll see the sync with other portals button on the left hand side in orange. Okay, so what happens is when you click on it, it will prompt you to say that your active listings in Portal Rate will be ported over, okay, within 48 hours. Usually not, it doesn't take so long. Okay, another thing is also that you can leave this page after you have done your syncing. Okay, you don't have to stay on the page for 48 hours. All right, usually within an hour or so, your listing should already come over. Of course, do take note that we only sync listings that are for residential property. So if you do have listings for commercial or industrial, you will need to actually manually key it in yourself. Okay. Also, if you have already downloaded our app, you should actually download our app if you haven't done so. It is called the HDB Agent app. You can also do your syncing via the app. So if you're on an Android device, okay, once you are logged in, under the very first tab, by the default tab, okay, which is called My Property, you will see the refresh looking button, arrow up and down, on the top right of the screen, and that is basically your sync function. Okay. If you are on iOS, Apple, okay, similarly, just the button is slightly different. We have the menu button, the three dot button on the top right. Click on it, and you will have the sync with other portals button. Okay, so all these QR codes here is basically for you to download the app if you haven't done so. Also, do take note that in the event you are using a third-party app, okay, maybe your own division or your own agency, or maybe you subscribe to an app that helps you to manage your listings across the different portals, okay, all the different platforms, that would actually override the sync function that we have here. So even if you click on the sync button, it's not going to work because there's an override situation here. So if you come across that your listings are not syncing over properly, just check with your account managers. It could be that you have used such an app before, and we will probably have to clean up your account a little bit to make sure that the sync would work again. Okay, so it's a either or. If you wish to still stick to your agency or division app, then you will not be able to use this sync button. Okay. Now, also, for those of you who haven't joined us for a while, this is actually a new product that we launched sometime during the circuit breaker. Okay, sometime around phase 2, I think. And this is basically a portion of the website which features all the videos relating to property. So think of it as the Netflix for property, okay? And if you are one of the content creators, if you create your own videos for property, you should actually join us here if you haven't done so. What it does is basically, so as long as you have your videos on YouTube or Facebook, you can have them listed on HDB Cars, and it has to be property related lah. So it can be your listing maybe, or it could also be for maybe more for education, trying to get buyers to understand how to invest, which area to look at, okay, or it could be more on interior design. So anything related to property would be accepted, okay. So if you need to understand a little bit more on the process, you can actually contact us at 94529197. The number is on the screen on the bottom right. Okay, so my colleague Naf will be able to assist you on this. So this is free at the moment, so don't miss this chance. I think we have more than maybe close to 1,000 videos on board already. Yeah. Okay, so today's topic, we are on HDB, and I thought I wanted to start off with an overview on how the resale market is doing. Okay, so I know that HDB covers both BTO and resale, but when it comes to prices, BTOs are not exactly that easy to obtain lah. Okay, BTO information, we do have some info, but when it comes to live update on the prices and all that, this would be if you're looking at the tool called market trend, you would be able to generate the trend only for resale property, okay, resale HDBs. So over here we have a trend from the 2002 until today. Okay, of course 2020 is not over yet, but as of now, this is the latest that I've gotten, and you can see in the last 18 years, generally speaking, prices have gone up. Okay, so if you look at the bottom, we have this average price showing the growth rate of 96%. So what this means is basically from the very first point in 2002, where the price is 219 per square foot, okay, in 2002. Today, in the year 2020, the average price is 429 per square foot. So all in all, it pretty much almost doubled, and that's where we are, and that's how we actually calculate the growth rate of 96%. Okay, so in case you're wondering how did we get this, is basically based on 219 increasing all the way to 429. So the first point of the time period to the last point of the time period. Of course, you would notice that in terms of the overall trend, it actually is pretty much flat from 02 to about 06. Okay, it's pretty much quite stable. And from 07 all the way to about 2013, there was a massive spike. You can see that the curve is quite steep, okay? And the prices went up to as high as 469 per square foot. Okay, that was peaked in the year 2013. So we actually allow you to draw this line over here, okay? From the very first point to 2002 all the way to 2013, and you can see that there is a growth of 114%. Okay, so you can actually break down instead of taking point 1 all the way to the last point and referring to the growth rate below. You can actually use this new function that we have called the pencil tool that allows you to plug points and draw lines, sort of. Okay, and you'll be able to see the growth rate from point to point. Okay, so in total in each chart, you will be able to plot up to 3 lines, okay, at one go. It can be for the price. It can also be for the volume. So later I'll show you for volume. Okay, and you can see from 2013 onwards, all the way until today, prices has pretty much dipped a little bit and then more or less, I would say, stabilized. But all in all, we are looking at a fall of about 9% from the peak in 2013. Okay, so what has caused this sudden increase in '07 to 13, and what could be the reasons that actually caused the fall from about 2012 onwards? Okay, so let's take a look. Before we look at the price, let's also take a look at the volume. Okay, later I will also quickly toggle to this particular tool for you to see how you can generate your own charts as well. Because I mean, at the end of the day, this is fixed as per today's. So if there was any further changes, if you want to create your own charts that are up to date, you would need to know how to do it, right? Okay, so yeah, so let me show you the volume. Okay, so the volume is basically the blue color bars behind. Okay, so same thing, I plotted 2 dots, the first and the last dot. Of course, do take note, for volume, you will have to use the pencil tool to plot. Okay, there will be no growth rate for volume by default. Okay, so you can see all the way from '02 all the way to today in 2020, volume for resale HDBs has pretty much gone down about 35%. Okay, so you can see that in the past we're looking at about 28,940. That was in 2000, and today we are looking at about 18,962. So in terms of the difference, we are almost 10k. Okay, 10,000 units difference from last time. Okay, 18 years ago until today. Of course, you can also see that the volume has fluctuated a little bit. It kind of peaked in 2010, and then there's a fall, and then there's a rise again. So if you wish to know from point to point, okay, which specific year to which year, what is the growth or the drop in volume or price, you can do so using the pencil tool. Okay, so right now I'm just going to quickly toggle to the website. Okay, give me a minute. Okay, I'm going to toggle to the website, and let me just quickly show you market trends. Okay, and this is the one. Okay, so I'm on HDB right now, and market trends is actually housed under tools. Okay, on the left hand side. Okay, so it's actually under the header called free tools. Okay, and right at the bottom you will find this one called market trends. Do take note, of course, for market trends, this can only be found on the website. This is not available on the app at the moment, simply because there's really quite a bit of filters, and at the moment is functionally it is better on the website. Okay, and secondly, even though this is housed under free tools, but there are actually quite a number of features that will only be available if you have a Pro Tools subscription with us. Okay, so I'm just going to click on market trend right now. Okay, and you can see over here we have the different filters that you can put in. Okay, so this is useful for you to generate price and volume trend. It is not necessarily only for HDB. Of course, for the purpose of today's training, we are talking about HDB. So if you're looking at any other types, okay, you can also key in by, say, the project name. So if I'm looking at condo, okay, for a specific condo, I can do that by keying in the project name and selecting the specific subtype, okay. Also, I can generate trends based on, let's say, tenure, okay. So if I want to do a comparison between freehold and leasehold, I can do so. Doing that, okay, looking at the performance for different tenures, different property types or subtypes, okay. So in this case, for today's session, we will be looking at HDB, okay. I'm just going to look at one HDB, which is everything, okay. Of course, if you wish to see how the individual room types are performing, you can also do so, okay. And if you're looking at the whole of Singapore, you don't have to select the location. But if you are looking at a specific town or regions, okay, based on the central, east, north, or northeast or west, you can also do so. If not, you can select the specific town, okay. So you can also generate based on the different transaction types. But take note, for HDB, we will only have info on resale. Okay, so new sale, sub-sale, anything related to buying directly from HDB, okay, be it from BTO, we will not have information. We will only have the resale information for HDB. Okay. Last but not least, we have the property size. So if you want to zoom in by the size, you can do so. But in fact, for HDB, since it has already been broken down by the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 executive and jumbo, I think this would be a better gauge for you guys, okay. If you're looking at a specific area, of course, sometimes, you know, a 5-room in this zone versus a 5-room in another zone, the size may be a bit different also, okay. So if you want to zoom into size specific, you can do so by keying it in here, okay. You can select from the drop down, or you can just manually type it in. So if I know that the unit size that I'm looking at is 93 square meters, I can actually put it in, okay. Okay, so you can see over here, it's actually 1000. Okay, and then if let's say I want it in thousand, maybe let's say something that not off the list, 1300 square feet, I can type it in and we will also convert it to square meters for you, okay. So thereafter you can click on show market trend, but since I just want a very basic trend on HDB itself, I'm not going to put in the size. Let me just delete this and let's just look at resale. Okay, so basically what we're doing now is to see the whole of Singapore, all the HDBs for resale. Okay, so you can see under results for, these are the filters that we have put in. Okay, and you can see that by default we would be looking at the time period of the last 3 years. Okay, there's a slider on the top here which allows you to change the time period as you wish. Okay. And of course, by default, we would be in the monthly view. So you can see the breakdown for the resale units in each individual month. Okay. One thing to take note, of course, if you are looking at the monthly view, there is usually a tendency where the average price line, okay, the orange line, can be quite erratic. Okay, can just be just nice that particular month the units sold were very big, or just nice the units were in a very good location, and that actually affected the volatility of the trend very much. So my recommendation, especially if you are not looking at a month to month kind of change, okay, if you want a better representation on how the HDBs are performing generally, okay, my recommendation is actually to refer to quarterly or yearly. Okay, so usually when I toggle to quarterly or yearly, the line would be smoother. You can see here it's much smoother than earlier. Okay, and they would be more representative. Okay, just to prevent, just nice this month very high, next month very low, and that would actually affect your growth rate very much. Okay, how you perceive the performance. So I would prefer to combine a few months or the entire year, so that you have a better idea on the growth rate. Okay, and of course you can look at yearly as well. So this is the one that I created earlier on for yearly. Of course, the time period wise, by default for yearly, we would be looking at the last 7 years. But if you want to go all the way, we can go as early as 2002 for HDB properties. Okay, of course, if you are creating your own charts for other property types like your private apartment condos, that you would be able to shift the time period all the way to 1995, okay, 1995, because our caveats are taken from URA, and they have a record of as early as 95. Okay, so this is basically the chart that I created earlier. So if you remember the growth rate 96%, there's no change yet. So from this very first point, so you can see all this is interactive. If you're not taking a screenshot or an image, you would be able to play around with it. Okay, so every month, every year, you can see the difference, and there will be a pop-up as well. Okay, you can also click on the individual time period. Okay, in this case, let's say I click on 2020, I would also be able to see the breakdown. Okay, so over here I did not select the HDB town. I selected the whole of Singapore. So you can see here that we have the breakdown for the year 2020, okay, in the order of the HDB town, okay, and the number of rooms, number of transactions. So basically you get a full overview of the performance for the different HDB towns, different sizes, how many transactions, what is the transaction value, okay, the overall pricing for the area, everything can be found here. Okay, and it goes all the way for all the HDB towns. So it's going to be a long, yeah, you can see here all the way, all the way to Yishun. So it's in alphabetical order. And of course, you can click in further for each of all these to see the actual transactions that happen. Okay, so I just clicked on Ang Mo Kio, and you can see that for the year of 2020, okay, these are some of the transactions from, or should I say, these are all the transactions from Ang Mo Kio. Okay, so you can see since January all the way to July. So thereafter, last few months, there were no transactions under Ang Mo Kio. Okay, so just click on the back button to go back, and then you can click outside, either the cross or outside the square, outside the window, to go back to the original one. Okay, now over here right on top we have the pencil here. So this is a new feature, and that is how I actually derive the growth rate from certain time period to another. So let me just show you how it works. Okay. Okay, so for example, just now I wanted to know the growth rate from 2012 to 2013, right? So I select the average price. Okay, so I see that pencil there right now, and I'm gonna click on the first dot and the last dot that I want. Okay, so that's how I created the 114 percentage. Okay, and of course, thereafter, I wanted the fall from 2013 to 2020. And same thing, I click on the pencil, select price. And from this dot, I want to compare with this dot here. So from 2013 to 2020, there was a fall of 19%. Okay, so if you wish to add these lines, it is a maximum of 3 lines per chart. And if you wish to delete the line that you have drawn, okay, there is a cross right beside the percentage button, which allows you to delete that particular line. Okay, so if I click on cross, it will indicate that the line is being deleted. Okay, another thing that you need to take note of is in the event when you draw the line, okay, make sure that the sequence of the points that you select, it matters, okay? So example, just now I clicked 2002 to 2013, so there was an increase of 114. What if I had clicked on 13 first, followed by 02? Okay, so let me show you. Same thing, average price. So from 2013 to 2020, the same line, but in a different direction, will say that, oh, actually from 2013 to 2020, 2002, there was a fall of 54%. Okay, so of course, mathematically, the denominator is different, and that's how you get the percentage. And in this case, it is a negative because it fell. Okay, so same thing, if you wish to delete it, it is the cross right beside. Okay, there is another function here. So if let's say you wish to download this chart, or you can either screenshot it, or you can actually download the chart right here. So you can export to image or PDF, or you can share it. Okay, so do take note that most of the key information, so all these filters here, would be captured in the image that you export. Okay, and there is also another tool right beside, which is the text tool, which allows you to put explanations or headers for this particular chart that you create. So maybe this is HDB resale prices example. Okay, so how many can you draw at one go, or how many text boxes can you include in one chart? Same answer, 3. Okay, anything more than that, you have to delete the old one first. Okay, so let me just go back to the slides now. Okay, this is my PowerPoint slide, and let's look at the second one. Okay, so I've shown you the price. So just a quick one on the volume before I go. Let me just go back to the website. Oh, okay, I am on the website. Okay. Okay, so over here, okay. So over here, when you are on the website, you will notice that this chart, because I have only created one trend line, okay, the volume and the price would be within one chart, okay. But if you actually choose to do a comparison, okay, you're able to create up to 3 trend lines or 3 volume results. When you do a comparison, you would see that the volume and the price would be separated. Okay, so if I want to see the fall or increase in the volume, this time around I would select volume, and same thing from point 1 all the way to the point that I want. Okay, the first point to the last point. Let me draw that again. Okay, so you can see over here that there's a fall of 35%, and the dots are actually placed where the blue color bars are at, okay, because that we are measuring the volume instead of the price. Okay, so let me toggle back to the slide right now. Okay, back to the slides and back to my PowerPoint. Okay, so we've gone through market trends, okay, which shows you the prices, how it increased and fell. Volume as well, you can see that pretty much it fell, okay. It fell from, so it was pretty much stable, a bit of spike in 2010, and then it fell quite a bit in 2013-14, and then it increased a bit, but pretty much stable after that also. But overall, there was a fall of 35%. So a bit of history, okay, so I did my homework and I think that it's really important to understand how the, what went behind all the increase and the fall of prices. Okay, so we start from long time ago, before there's this thing called BTO, build to order. We actually have this thing called the registration for flat system. Okay, so it's a queue system. When you're ready to buy, you just go and queue. Okay, and in most cases, there should be some ready stock available for you to book, or you don't have to wait too long for your house to be ready. So that's really awesome if you ask me, because I'm waiting for my VTO now and it's terrible. I'm like waiting. After so long, I still need to wait for another 2 more years. Okay, but that aside, so we bring you back to as early as 1997. Okay, when there was the Asian financial crisis. So that definitely hit Singapore because we're in Asia. And what happened is that the HDB actually built had about 80,000 flats under construction. Okay, so at that point in time, I think we didn't have that much of a spike in population yet per se. So they're just building in advance. Okay, unlike the BTO where you place your order first, you pre-order before they build. Okay, so that actually resulted in a lot of units unsold because of the crisis. So people don't dare to buy house, right? Okay, so at least half of the units were unsold, and then that's where they decided that look, we need to change our scheme so that we can actually build as per required, okay, rather than build in advance, okay, and then it's like your how do you say it? It's like the factory, they will build only when you order lah, okay, unlike last time whereby they'll create everything and then if there's no demand, everything is stuck in the warehouse. Okay, so they came up with this build to order. It's great. I mean, the rationale for this is really to ensure that everything is as per required. Okay, and of course, within that few years from 2002 to 2007, they had this walk-in selection for unsold units. So in fact, my parents also bought a walk-in selection unsold unit. So I remember the day when my parents came home and like, oh, we're moving house, and like, huh? Suddenly, and within about a year or so, we moved already because uh, at that point in time they were still building, but then it was very fast. Unlike now, have to wait for 3-4 years for it to build. Okay, so walk-in selection prices were pretty much on the low side also. And then of course, at that time we were also plagued by SARS. So all these sentiments has caused people to sort of hold on to their purchase decisions. Okay. So thereafter, I mean, eventually the unsold units were taken up, and they decided to replace it with the sale of balance units, which was held every 2 times a year. And things have changed by then. So even though the global financial crisis came in 07, 08, but the HDB actually managed the demand and supply pretty much. So they reduced the supply, okay. In fact, late 2007 to 2010, okay, the supply for the BTOs were very low. Okay, so in most cases, they were oversubscribed. Okay, because at that time, population is still increasing, and so even though they had a minimum application rate of about 50%, it was 70, and then they reduce it to 50. But actually, it doesn't matter because they were usually fully taken. Okay, in fact, for sale of balance at that time, I think about 10 people were fighting for one unit. Okay, so that was the situation then. And then we came to 10 years ago, 2010. Okay, so for EC, if you had attended our session last week, so you will remember that there was a point in time that ECs were launched, okay, and then there was a point in time that they decided to replace ECs with DBSS. And somehow it didn't quite work out, and they reintroduced ECs again in 2010. Okay, they started to sell the government land sales land for EC again in 2010. Okay, and within the 7 years when they start selling ECs again, we also noticed that there were a lot of EC lands for sale compared to now. So if you compare to this year in 2020, we only have one EC land, which is the Yishun Avenue 9 that was released in first half of 2020, and then we have another one, if I remember correctly, is in Tengah. Okay, that will be for the second half of 2020. So only two lands per year. Okay, but at that point in time, we had so many EC launches. It went up to, I think, maybe even 7 or 8 launches in a year. So suddenly there were a lot of ECs in the market. And later, I will explain a little bit on why, or should I just talk a bit? Okay, I'll just talk a bit about it now. So why is it significant, okay, to know about the return of the EC land sales, and how does that affect the HDB resale prices, okay? So the thing about ECs is that it is a hybrid kind of property, okay? It's half public, half subsidized, and half private, okay? So after 10 years, it becomes fully privatized. You can sell to foreigner. But the thing is, in order to buy an EC, you would have to be eligible to buy it, okay? You need to be Singaporean or PR or combined, okay? You need to meet a income ceiling requirement. Some of the people actually are getting grants for it, okay? Especially the first timers. And for second timers, okay, second timers meaning these people have actually enjoyed a subsidized flat before, okay? It could be they bought a BTO before, or they bought a resale and actually made use of the grant, okay? So these people are considered second timers. And the thing is, for second timers, they would actually have to sell their existing place, okay, their existing subsidized flat within 6 months from collecting the keys for their EC property. Okay, so that means to say that when there's a lot of EC land, okay, let's say one EC, I think most of the ECs, at least about the initial stage, we're looking at a few hundred, 400, 500 units, plus minus, okay, and you notice that maybe about half, okay, especially for those who bought earlier in 2010 to 2015, a lot of them were actually second timers, okay? So if that's the case, that would actually mean that the supply in the resale market would have gone up, because these people must sell their HDB, okay, their subsidized flats, before they can sort of move into this new place that they have bought. Okay, so that actually increase the supply for the resale market. Okay, so if you increase supply, chances are the price would fall, right? So if you imagine one project, say 200-300 units belong to second timers, that is the number of units that will be flooding the resale market at that time. Okay, and of course, coupled with other reasons that actually brought down the prices. Okay, of course, another thing is that for ECs, it's only towards the end of, I would think it's about 2013, 2014 onwards, right? Then they have this new regulation, okay, which is for the resale levy. Okay, so prior to that, all the second timers don't have to pay any resale levy. But once, I think around 13, 14, they had to pay resale levy, and that also changed the situation a little bit lah. So towards the end of it, you see that sales for EC has fallen a little bit, because some of the second timers may not be willing to pay for the levy, which can go to about 40-50K. Okay, so okay, for 2012, yearly BTO supply increase. Okay, so what happens if you recall earlier in let me shift this. Okay, So in 2007, the BTO supply, '07 all the way to '09, okay, it was only about 5,000 over units per year, okay, but come 2012, the HDB decided to increase the supply almost 3 times, 4 times. So we're looking at about 16,000, 20,000 worth of BTO per year. And that actually, same thing, supply went up. That will also bring down the prices for resale. Okay. Thereafter, there were a few measures, namely the 3 years waiting time for PRs to buy. So that brought down the demand. Okay, so now this time round, the measure was to bring down demand, and also when demand goes down, the price goes down. So you can see that the fall starts sometime from 2012 onwards. You start to see that the price started to fall. Okay, and then of course, somewhere in 2014, there were a few things. Firstly, they removed the COV. So for those of you who are in the HDB market, you would know that COV, in order to work out the COV, it was not so easy anymore, because the buyers would actually have to uh, put down their deposit first, then send their units for valuation. So it's very hard to gauge the COV. So that in turn, I mean, if you are a buyer, you would not be so daring to offer too high, because you don't know what kind of COV you are likely to come back with. Okay, so that actually brought down the prices as well. Also, we have the mortgage service ratio, which allows only 30% of the income to be used to pay for the installment. Okay, so at that time we have the HDBs and ECs under the mortgage service ratio. I mean, even until now lah. Okay, and then for the private properties, it will be under the TDSR, total debt service ratio, which is at 60%. Okay, so if they come in with the mortgage service ratio, of course that also means that you will need a higher income in order to afford more lah. Okay, so if they reduce the affordability, of course, prices would also have to fall. And then lastly, they reduce the HDB loan tenure. So it used to be like 30 years, but in 2014, they actually reduced it to 25 years as well. So all these make the HDB more expensive in a way, okay, harder to afford in a way. So that's how prices also fell. So these were some of the things that happened, and you can actually link back to the chart that we see earlier. Okay, so if you go back to this chart, you can see from 2012 how the prices have fallen and start to stabilize. All these can be explained by all these different events and happenings that happened during these few years. Some are HDB decisions, some are cooling measures, and some are, of course, crises that came along the way. Okay, so it is important when you create the chart, you understand the reason why. How come there's a spike in price at this point in time? How come there was a fall at another point in time? So try and, I mean, this may not be the full list. There could be more reasons that cause the increase or fall. So this is one of it lah. Okay, so if you have more of all these reasons why prices increase or fall, let me know. Okay, maybe I can add it into my slides as well. Let me know in the live chat. Okay, but pretty much I think I've covered most of it. Okay, so over here I've actually took to look at the supply as well. So just now we look at price, we look at volume, we talk about the government increasing or decreasing the supply of HDBs. We talk about the demand, the change in demand because of the, let's say, PR not being able to buy. Okay, there's a spike in supply because EC second timers have to sell their place. Okay, but this one is purely the HDB side building the new flats, okay, and you can see also that there's spike, there's drop, but sometime towards the end of it, okay. So if you remember, we mentioned earlier there was a few years, so around 05, 06, there were a few years where the number of units, okay, 05 all the way to 09 lah. These were the few years where the HDB chose to reduce the amount of supply, okay, for the BTO units, and that actually caused the prices to go up also in a way, okay. And then thereafter, when they increase the supply again, that would also bring down the demand for resale. So everything is happening at the same time. There's a lot of ways to look at it in a way. Of course, from here you can also choose to sort of add 5 years. So initially, before, which year is it? Before that was in 2002. Okay, so 2002 and before, they pretty much construct and then they wait for people to buy, right? So there were a lot of units around, let's say 97, 98, all these. Remember, it was unsold. Okay, so that was during the Asian financial crisis period, 97, 98. So there were a lot of unsold units because of the old scheme, and then in 02 they came up with the new scheme. Okay, so always remember, so from 02 onwards, 2002 onwards, when it is being constructed, right, you also need to look at it being, you have to wait few years before it is complete, and then few years for it to MOP. And from there, you can actually work out how the supply would be moving forward. Okay, so this is something that I took from SingStats. If you want to get hold of this, just go to SingStats, you can get this. Okay, and this is also from SingStats. So in case you are wondering, this is most updated as of 2019, end of 2019. As of now, the bedroom type, which is still the most popular in a way, okay, would still be your 4-room, okay, at 31.8%, followed by the 5-room, okay, and then 3-room apartment condo, as well as HDB and landed. Okay, so this is the breakdown. So if let's say you are focusing on HDB, I think the main ones to focus on is still 4-room and 5-room, okay, and above lah. And this is taken from the HDB website. Of course, this is very generic if you ask me. Okay, this is for Q3 2020, and I feel that it is better to look deeper into these numbers, simply because while they show you which town it is from, okay, and they break down into the number of bedrooms, but you don't really know whether these are new or old. Okay, so some places, for example, Ang Mo Kio, you have really old ones and you have really new ones. Of course, this is just a median, so you need to plus minus a little bit. Okay, an example would be Sengkang area. Okay, so that's where I live, so I know a little bit better. So the 5 rooms are looking at 475, but these are actually the slightly older 5-room, maybe about 15 years old. Okay, so if you're looking at those that just BTO not long ago, I'm sorry, just MOP, okay, BTO MOP, right? The prices can go up to 600 plus. So you can see how different it is. There is a note at the side that explains all these data here. But if you ask me, a better way to get this info and a more precise way of getting this info would be through EdgeProp tool, which is market trend and some others. So this is actually market trend. So what I did this time around is to zoom in to a specific town, okay, so Sengkang, because it's where I'm most familiar with, okay. Same thing, you can toggle monthly, quarterly, yearly, and I'm looking at yearly right now, and you can see the price breakdown, right? So over here, if you actually zoom in, okay, so over here I didn't zoom in to the bedroom type, but if you zoom into the bedroom type, you will also be able to see the average prices for each bedroom. Okay, so you can click on it. If I don't select the bedroom type, it will show you everything lah. Okay, and this would be based on the time period that you select. So it can be yearly, so in this case the whole year. Okay, it can also be quarterly or monthly, so you can actually make further adjustments rather than just looking at it on quarterly basis. Can I look at it monthly? Can I look at it yearly? You can do so here. Okay, and when you click on all the individual bedroom type, you can also see the actual transactions that happen. So down to the block, down to the unit size, the actual unit, everything. So that would give you a better idea, this block, or this block is the older block, or this block is the newer block. And that will affect how you quote your clients also when you're looking at the prices. Okay, because we also have the minimum, average, maximum price as well, so that would be a good gauge for you, and then as well as per square foot. Okay, and then there is one more tool which is basically called shortlist. So if you are focusing on a certain GTA or certain HDB town or area, you can actually make use of this. So let me just show you how to do it live. So I'm going to toggle to the website again. Okay, let me do that. Where is my this one? Okay, so I'm going to toggle to the website. Okay, and we'll go to the tool. Okay, so this tool that I'm going to share with you now is called Shortlist Projects and Transaction. So I'm going to click on it. Okay, and okay, so over here, this tool you can use for all the different property types, but for this case I am looking at apartment condo lah. Okay, no, sorry, I'm looking at HDB. Okay, and then we'll be looking at projects, because basically I want to know all the HDB blocks within this particular HDB town, for example. Okay, and I'll set the time period to all, okay, so that I don't leave out any. Okay, if I want to zoom into a certain subtype, I can do so also. So that means to say, if let's say I'm looking at 5 room, and there are certain blocks without 5 room, it will be eliminated from the list itself. Okay, so over here we have the town, so you can see all. So either you're looking at the whole of Singapore, or you can select the town that you want. Okay, the rest of the stuff are pretty much subject to what you're looking for. Of course, if you are serving a client and you're helping them to find a property, okay, then all these may be important to you, because maybe they say that, oh, I don't want anything too old. You can put in the age. Or I only want a certain size range. You can put in the size. Okay, and you can also rank by what is important to them, because sometimes if let's say, I mean, for HDB most of it is for own stay lah, but if they're looking in the long run, maybe they want to know that, is it easy to sell in future, is it easy to rent out. Okay, so these may be some of the important factors that may be important to them. So if it is more for own stay, maybe price would be the easiest way to do the ranking by. Okay, and then you can click on shortlist. Okay, so basically I have shortlisted the HDB blocks in Sengkang. Do take note that there will be a maximum of 200, okay, per search result. So if you think, in this case, if I see a result of 200, I know that there could be certain blocks that have been left out because there were no transactions, or in terms of ranking wise, okay, because I have currently ranked by price. So in terms of pricing wise, it is not within the top 200 lah, so called. Okay, so if you want to adjust any of these filters, you can. Okay, or you can further filter down on the top here to get a more precise result. Okay, but basically, if I want to know all the HDB units, HDB blocks in Sengkang in this case, okay, their completion, their lease year, okay, their pricing, all these you will be able to see here, okay. So you can see average, minimum, average, maximum price, sales volume, rental volume, capital gain, and rental yield as well. Just take note, okay, just take note, all these prices would be based and volume would be based on the time period that you select, okay, which at this time I selected all. But if you really want to look at the performance, okay, so just now my idea is that I want to generate a database. I want to know all the blocks in Sengkang with, let's say, 5 rooms, so I select 5 rooms. But if my intention is to help my client find properties, okay, then I would look at it at time period maybe last 12 months, because I want to know, okay, let's say last 12 months, I want to know in the last 12 months what kind of pricing or rental am I looking at. So in this case, you can see for this unit, for this block, 275B Campusville, in the last 12 months, nobody rented anything. Okay, so if the intention is to eventually rent it out, you want to look at those with rental details. Chances are, I'm assuming, nearer to amenities, easier to rent out. Okay, so there's a lot of ways where you can further shortlist this list, okay, based on your objective. If it is to find the entire database, you can do so. If it is to help your client find a unit, okay, a block that is ideal for them, then remember to adjust the time period to something more recent, okay, so that the prices and the rental is updated as per current market, okay. Okay, back to the slides. Okay, yeah. Just double check that I'm on the slides. Okay, back on the slides already. So this is something you can do to filter, okay, to find out the HDB blocks. And then of course, just now I have somebody asking, okay, David was asking how to find out which HDB blocks or BTOs are going to MOP. So this is the tool that you should know, okay. So if you haven't heard about HDB MOP, this is a very useful tool for HDB. Okay, so let me just toggle to the website to show you the live version. Okay. Okay, so what I need you to do is go to Tools. Okay, go to Tools and look for the tool under Prospecting. Okay, pick Tools under Prospecting called HDB MOP. Okay. And over here, you can see that you can look for both BTO or resale properties. Okay, let's look at resale first. And you can actually zoom down to that specific town or towns that you're looking at, or if you want the whole of Singapore also can lah. So example, I select all. Okay, if you're looking at a specific block, you can do so as well. Okay, and what you need to put in here is the estimated MOP date. Okay, so if it's going to MOP in 2020, that means chances are, because this is resale market, so that means to say this unit was resold 5 years ago in the year 2015. Okay, of course, if you want to zoom down or narrow down to the month, you can do so as well. And if you want to narrow down to the property type, it can be done as well. Okay, so I'm just going to keep it as all, so that let's see how the results look like. Okay, so this is basically the record that we have for the whole of Singapore in the year 2020. Okay, so we have results of 17,722 sales. Do take note, this is not the full number. There are transactions that cannot be found here simply because we do not have the unit number. So that means to say, this 17,722 sales that we have here, we have full transaction information down to the unit number, the type, the model, everything is there. Okay, the block, the full address. So you can see here we have transaction date, MOP date, which is always 5 years apart. The block, street name, postal, unit number, type, all this is the full address down to model, area. Over here, when you look at price, we are looking at a price that happened during the transaction date, which is in this case the year 2015. Okay, and then we are also looking at the fair value. So fair value is actually EdgeProp's indicative valuation. Okay, so what we are looking at is the valuation today. Of course, it is a desktop valuation. Nobody went down to the unit, but from there, we can actually work out the profit and loss. So that means to say, if this unit 07236 were to sell today, okay, so he bought it at 446,000 in 2015. Today, based on valuation, it seems that prices have fell, and this person is likely to make a loss of 68,000. Okay, how did we get 68,000? Simply we take 378 minus 446,000. Okay, is this profit and loss including all the different costs incurred by the buyer slash seller? The answer is no, because things like agent fees, stamp duty, all these are not counted inside. Okay, renovation, all these are not included. We simply took the valuation minus the price. Okay, so that's how we work out the P&L. So you will notice here, I mean, just based on 10 results, you can see that 3 out of 7 seems profitable, the rest are not. So you can actually below at the bottom, okay, you can adjust the number of rows per page. Okay, let's say I want 50 per page, you can do so. Okay, but overall you notice that it seems that there's more reds than greens. Okay, so that was actually why we introduced the BTO section, because for those of you who, let's say I focus on Sengkang, and then you see that wow, all the P&L mostly red color, making loss, then how to approach these people, right? Okay, but before we move on to BTO, one thing I want to highlight is all these headers here, you can click on them to do your sorting. Okay, so I'm going to click on P&L now. Okay, so I can see all those people, the people with the most number of losses, and I also can click on it to see the people who are making money. Okay, so at least there should be a few pages of profit lah. Okay, so let's see. Okay, quite decent lah. Okay, so many pages of people who make profit. Of course, if you want to zoom down to the HDB Town, you can do so. Of course, if you see the profit is like 5,000, those kind, take note, chances are they are still making a loss, simply because remember the costs that they incur, your stamp duty, agent fees, all these, we haven't added that in. So if you see the number is, the profit amount is really low, chances are they are making a loss. Okay, but of course all these people here, close to 100k or more, pretty much these people are making money lah. So if you approach them, you can say, hi, understand that you bought your unit about 400k about 5 years ago. Very happy to let you know that now your property is close to 500k. So do you want to, maybe it's a good time to sell now to tap on the earnings of close to 100k, something like that lah. Okay, so that's for HDB MOP. So why is it that there are so many red colors? Okay, so many people making losses. So if you refer back to my timeline just now, there were a few things that happened, right? So just recap a bit. We have the EC launches. Okay, so remember I mentioned second timers must sell their HDB flats within 6 months from TOP of the EC. Okay, so if they sell, they will increase the supply for resale flats, and in turn buyers have a lot of choice, they can push down the prices. Next one would be PRs. PRs need to wait for 3 years before they can buy a HDB resale flat. So some of the PRs don't want to wait, they rent or they buy private. Okay, so demand for resale went down, the price also went down. Then of course mortgage service ratio, only 30% of the income can be used to pay, and so demand also go down. So some people will say that, oh, if that's the case, I buy private because TDSR is 60%. Okay, and then of course the COV, where buyers are more conservative when they offer their when they put up the offer lah, okay, when they sign the OTP. So let me just show you the screen for that. Give me a minute. No, that is not showing up for you guys. Here. Okay. So this is the list again. The four or more reasons why prices are going down for resale. Of course, for those who are making profit, what are the chances? It could be that they are in really good location, okay, places like your Bishan still doing very well. Or if let's say you're in a maybe not so mature estate like Sengkang and Punggol, okay, there's a lot of losses. But if your unit is, let's say, very near to the MRT, if your unit is maybe a mansionette or executive, those with limited supply, okay, then you should be more buffered, okay, safer from these price drops, because your supply is limited, right? There's only X amount of units that are near MRT. There's only X amount of units that are for executive or mansionette, which basically HDB is no longer building lah. Okay. Okay, so we go back to this, and then just a bit of news. Okay, just a bit of news. We have this. So this actually affects everyone, regardless whether it's HDB, private, or any construction lah. Okay, so this was sometime in May, and we noticed that construction costs will eventually go up. Okay, so and eventually it will be borne by the buyer lah. Okay, so if you're asking me moving forward, will prices increase or decrease? My guess is BTO will increase for sure. Okay, because construction costs go up, and that in turn might also help the resale market a little bit lah. Okay, because those already built already mah. But in relative, it will also help to push the prices a little bit, I assume. Yeah, of course, still subject to all the other factors that come into place lah. Okay, so I see some questions. Let me answer them. Sing Kwong, does this chart include DBSS? Wow, good question. I believe so. Okay, I believe you're talking about the market trends, right? So that's the thing. DBSS falls under HDB. Okay, let's just try lah. Let's just try. Okay, let me just toggle to the website. Okay. So for DBSS, I'm assuming you're asking for the market trends chart. So if you're looking at the HDB MOP, DBSS will not be found here. Okay. But if you are looking for market trends, if you want to see DBSS transactions, I believe you can find. Okay, let me find a place with DBSS first. Okay, so we have the peak at Toa Payoh, right? Okay, so the peak at Toa Payoh, so I select HDB. I select Toa Payoh. Yeah. Let me just see what is the street name. Yeah. Pardon me. I want to find the address. Okay, 128 Lorong 1 Toa Payoh. Okay. So let's just try. Okay. Toa Payoh. Okay. So if you are searching for DBSS or even like the peak, what's the other one? The Pinnacle. Okay, Pinnacle is not DBSS. All along I thought it was, but it's not. But still, all these, please search via the address. Okay, so actually, if I search for this 128 Lorong 1 Toa Payoh, which is basically the peak at Toa Payoh, you will see that the transaction information is here. Okay, so it is included. Even if you're not looking at a specific block, if I select, say, all HDB and then Toa Payoh, these transactions would also be added into the overall chart. Okay, so what you have seen earlier would have included DBSS inside as well. Okay, so let's say I look at yearly. Okay, so you can see each year how many units were sold. Of course, this is for that specific block only. But if you zoom into the town, it would add in all the other blocks as well. Okay. Oh, I just realized I didn't flip the screen again. Wait. So, Chrome. Okay, I need to switch this. Okay. I repeat again. Sorry about this. Okay, so I am now under market trends, and what I did is to key in the block number 128 Lorong 1 Toa Payoh. This is the address for one of the blocks under the peak at Toa Payoh, which is a DBSS. So I found that there is results. Okay, there is results for it. So which basically means that if I were doing an overall search for HDBs in Toa Payoh, for example, it would include sales from the DBSS as well. Okay, just that under the property type, there is no official category called DBSS. Okay, because DBSS is still categorized under your 4-room, 5-room, and all that. Okay, okay. Cindy, can you explain again the Resale 2015? Okay, let me see. Video. Oh, okay. I think Cindy, you're asking about the market, the HDB MOP, right? So for HDB MOP, okay, if you are looking at resale, okay, so over here you will need to put in the estimated MOP date. So if I select the year 2020, MOP in 2020 means it is transacted in the year 2015 because MOP takes 5 years. So that's how it is being worked out. Okay. And okay, so David, are these not actual transactions, just estimate P&L? Yes, they are just estimate P&L. So let me just show you guys again. So over here, it is based on the estimated H fair value, which is an indicative valuation. Desktop, nobody went down to your unit. And that's how we work out the P&L, by taking the fair value minus the price. So obviously, again, it is not, nobody went down to your unit lah, okay? And it didn't truly happen. The profit and loss is predicted. Okay, this unit is not exactly for sale, so we don't really know whether it's like a paper gain, paper loss kind of thing. Okay, of course, there may be other costs incurred that is not reflected in the P&L as well. This whole idea of showing you the P&L is really for you to identify, which unit should I target? Because obviously you're not going to call, let's say, the first unit 07236, or you're not going to door knock and say, "Hi, would you like to sell your unit today? Understand that you bought about 446 today. If you sell, you're going to make a loss of about 70k." I think they were like, huh? Right. So the whole idea is to target those that are making a decent profit. So when you call them to say, "Oh, do you want to cash out on the possible profits that your unit is going to make if you're going to sell your unit today?" Okay, then of course, you can pitch them other things. If you reinvest this amount into a private and all that, you can earn more money. Then stay on to a HDB, which chances are prices would continue to fall. unless of course it is a special type that, you know, demand and supply wise. But because HDBs are 99 years, you're not confirmed that you will get SIRS and all that. So there's a lot of different reasons why they should sell their HDB and buy a private. Okay. Okay. So Cindy, yeah, actually I realized I have not even touched on BTO yet. So I'll come to that. Okay. Terence, can I find the unit number? Can I find the number of transaction for a particular HDB unit? Yes, you can. So if you are looking for a HDB unit, right? Okay. So one way is to go to, I think, okay, the thing about HDB units is like, even though we have the unit numbers here, but there are cases, because if you go to HDB websites, they only show you transactions, let's say, okay, 10 to 12 story, 13 to 15 story, but you don't know which exact unit. So there might be chances whereby maybe we have a few records, but we don't have the full record. That means to say, there may be some which we were not able to identify the unit. So let me just show you an example. So a bit off topic here, but if we go to Tower View, okay, Tower View basically allows you to see how many times that unit is caveated for. Okay, so as long as it was transacted before, and we are able to identify the unit number, you would be able to see the record. So example, let me think of something. 4138, okay. Okay, so key in the block number with the street, okay. So Tower View is a diagrammatic chart, so you can see as long as there is information in the grid, that means it was at least transacted one time after the BTO. So if you see all these empty ones, they are also potential units for you to target, because these units are they likely just bought from HDB, okay, under the BTO scheme, and they never move after that. Okay, but for the rest, you can see here, for example, this unit 1609. Okay, so 1609 was last transacted in 12 May 2017 at 470K, and if I click on it, okay, you can see that there is only one transaction. Okay, but if there were multiple transactions of this unit caveated by HDB, okay, you'll be able to see it here, but also provided that we have the unit number, because there are some transactions that we only know, this is 15 to 17 floor, but we don't know whether is it this 16 unit, 15 unit, or 17 unit. Okay. Okay. So let me go to Cindy's question now. Wait, let me just double check if you are looking at the right screen. Yeah, correct. Tower View. Okay. So back to Cindy's question on BTO. So what I'm gonna do now is under the resale, under the HDB MOP, just now we touched on resale, right? So we're now going to look at BTO. Okay, BTO. Okay, so I will toggle to BTO, and you will realize that the information for BTO is slightly different. Okay, slightly different. Everything else, the filters are pretty much the same. Let me just click on search, and you will see the difference. So what we do here is for BTO, because we're looking at the entire project, or the entire blocks, okay, few blocks within the BTO project, that is going to MOP at the same time. Okay, so how did we work out this MOP date? It is based on an estimate, whereby when they launch, okay, so we actually have the launch date where HDB open it for sale, okay, and from there we make this assumption that it takes 3 years to build, and then 5 years to MOP. So you can see over here, 12 January 2012, and then MOP in 12 January 2020. Okay, this MOP date is a plus minus date because sometimes certain projects they take longer to build, and certain projects they take shorter to build. Okay, and then also now with COVID in place, there would be some plus and minuses. But over here, what you can see is that for each of all these projects, how many blocks there are in that project, the bedroom type that is available in this project, okay, the size, number of units, and the price range. So over here, the price range is the price range that is paid directly to HDB. So these are BTO prices, and it is not including the grants that these people might be able to obtain. Okay, so all these price range is before grant, and it is also paid directly to HDB. Okay, so I would say that for HDB price range, it is quite easy to read. Simply, if you are on the second floor or third floor, that will be usually your lowest price. Okay, and then the highest range would be for the top floor. And then of course, if you come across that certain, let's say I have a project, and there's maybe half of the project are 13 stories, okay, and then you have maybe 4 stacks which are 25 stories, okay. So you will notice that the stack that is say 25 stories, from the 13th floor to the 14th floor, there will be a slightly bigger jump. If not, you can more or less divide it equally lah. But usually, if let's say you suddenly overlook a certain place, there may be a jump in price. But all in all, if let's say I have a block A and B facing each other, okay, same floor, facing each other, same size, chances are their price is the same also. Okay, so you can see also over here, for example, this one. So you have 487A, okay, where the range is 229 to 284. And then you have block B, also 4 room, the range is exactly the same. So technically speaking, second floor to second floor, same price. Fifth floor to fifth floor, same price. 11 to 11 floor, same price. That's how HDB generally do their pricing lah. So unless you're talking about special view, sea view, maybe not sea view, longkang view, unblocked view, unless you have such a special case, if not, if let's say HDB to HDB, you're looking at each other, price will be about the same. Okay. So, okay, I think most of the questions I have answered already. If you have any more questions, feel free to leave them in the live chat. If not, we are pretty much done for today. That is 1.5 hours worth of me rambling. I hope you all picked up something today. If you do want the slides, you can get it from your account managers. I will put it up on Google Drive for you guys to download. Okay. If not, actually, most of the things are covered. It's really that you guys need to have more hands-on, okay? Have more hands-on on the tools that we have shared today. So if you're looking at what we've done today, it is for market trends, okay? So try and generate your own trends. You can zoom into property subtypes. Maybe you want to know how the 4 rooms are doing, the 5 roomers are doing. You can zoom into the different HDB towns, okay? So go and play around with it. There's more that you can further analyze when you further zoom into the subtypes and the locations. Then, of course, we covered HDB MOP, as well as, yeah, I think that's pretty much the 2 that we covered today lah. Okay. So with that, I'm just gonna end with today's the promo for you guys all the way until the end of this year. So 11/11, right? But this can tahan you all the way to the end of the year. So if you are interested to get our twin deal, okay, so basically we have Pro Tools, which is access to all the analytical tools, including market trends and HDB MOP. We also have Prop Points, which is more for leads generation. So if you want a power package, this will be the one where you can get both at a really good price of $599. So if you want to understand more about prop points or even for Pro Tools as well, do check with your respective account managers. They'll be able to assist you from there. Okay, so with that, I will end today's session. Thank you, everyone. Please like, subscribe if you think this is a useful training for you. We also have a training feedback. If you feel it is good or no good, we want to know, okay? If I'm too low, so let me know also. Okay, and with that, thank you, everyone, and bye-bye. So this is special for Yao San, in case you're still here. You were asking about tower view, okay? A bit different, not what we're sharing today, but okay. Wait, try and help you from there. Okay, tower view. So if you have your own account, this is what you can do. Okay, tower view. So select HDB. 417. Betul. Okay. Okay, so this is how the block that you want looks like. Okay. And if you click in, okay, let's see. Yeah, so in this case, there were 2 transactions for this unit, for example. Okay, yeah. So thank you, everyone. Bye. I hope you're. I don't know why you're still here. If you're still here. Okay, bye, everyone.